Friends, my name is Tim O'Malley, and I'm the director of the Notre Dame Center for Liturgy and co-editor of the journal Oblation, Liturgy and Evangelization. I'd like to welcome you to this online journal. Over the coming days, the Notre Dame Center for Liturgy will be presenting our vision for the journal, as well as presenting the first articles that we have planned for the journal itself. Yet as we begin, I wanted to ask a question. Why the title Oblation? And what does it have to do with evangelization? In Augustine's City of God, in the context of an apologetic for Eucharistic sacrifice, the Doctor of Grace writes, "Our heart is his altar when it is lifted up to him. We plead to him by his only begotten priest. We offer bleeding victims when we strive for his truth, even to shedding blood. We burn the sweetest incense to him, when we are aflame with holy and pious love in his sight. We consecrate and we return his gifts in us, in our own person. By solemn feasts and dedicated days, we render sacred and proclaim the memory of his benefits, lest by the passing of time, ingrate forgetfulness might creep upon us. We sacrifice to him a victim of humility and of praise, on the altar of our heart kindled by the fire of love." For Augustine, the Eucharistic offering is an oblation, yet it is one that transforms the very nature of what it means to be human. Our memories, our creative imagination, our works of justice and love toward God and neighbor, all of these are configured according to the Eucharistic pedagogy of the Church. It is a process, a way of formation, in which when we eat this bread and drink this cup, we proclaim the death of the Lord until he comes in glory. Oblation is not about inflicting suffering and pain upon ourselves, but that gradual formation into a life configured to Christ's gift of self-love. And dear friends, this is what the Church means by evangelization, the gospelization of all human existence. The liturgical life of the Church necessarily plays a part in this. But as Sacrosanctum Concilium number 11 reminds us, but in order that the liturgy might be able to produce its full effects, it is necessary that the faithful come to it with proper dispositions, that their minds be attuned to their voices, and that they cooperate with heavenly grace, lest they receive it in vain. Thus, fundamentally, this online journal is about teaching dispositions, the attunement of mind and voice, so that we might perform this oblation necessary for evangelization. Indeed, the journal will consider what one must know and how one must know it in order to participate fruitfully in the liturgical life of the Church. It also considers spirituality, the type of habits, the mystagogical imagination developed through the practices of prayer in the Church. It considers culture and how abiding within a very specific world in a very specific time shapes the way that we offer this oblation. It considers mystagogy itself, how chewing upon the signs of the liturgy might allow us to taste the mystery and thus transform us into a life of love, a life given to our neighbor. The audience then we hope to speak to includes those involved in liturgical ministry, but we hope not to limit it to this. We hope to address the catechist, striving to teach his or her student the importance of Eucharistic participation, to facilitate a formation in Eucharistic desire. We hope to address the deacon or priest, striving to give transformative homilies, but who would benefit from a formation into a mystagogical imagination, the mystagogical imagination of the Church. We hope to speak to the music minister, so that they might see their work not simply as an accompanying Mass, but cultivating a sense of the mystery of God through the words that are said, through the tune that is sung. We are thus a catechetical journal, a journal of spirituality, a journal of liturgy. And our deepest hope is not only that we can talk about these things, but that through the very process of reflection, we may, as St. Paul so beautifully stated in Romans 12:1-2, by the mercies of God, let us present our bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. This is what our journal will consider. I invite you to stop in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for updates to the journal. A blessed Lent to you, and may your reading of this journal help you in your own offering of oblation.